you doing? It's February 17th at 6:30. This is our select board meeting. It is at 6:30 right now. Roll call. Looks like Richard's absent. Phil?
Here.
Scotty is absent. He did call me today and notified me. And Susan, I'm here. And Carolyn, I'm here as well. So, pledging allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we're going to proceed tonight since we do have a quorum. What? Did he come in? Oh, cool. All right. We'll wait a moment. Have you guys been able to look and approve the minutes? From February 3rd.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from February 3rd.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Keep going.
Minutes are approved.
If you don't mind, I'm going to make sure you can put that up.
He doesn't have his. Okay, sure. All right. Do you mind if we just keep going? It's approval of the payables and all that? Okay. All right. Moving on, approval for accounts payable warrant 41 and 42. Have a motion?
Make a motion to approve accounts payable warrants 41 and 42.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Approval for payroll warrant 40.
Make a motion to approval of payroll warrants number 40.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. I'm gonna hold for the financial resolve.
What is that for?
That is for
So $15,000.
15, yeah, it's the financial resolve, be it resolved by the Sebago Select Board in the Select Board assembled to direct the town manager or his designee to appropriate up to $15,000 from the undesignated fund for the professional services expenses for the ordinance review as authorized by Article 25 of June 17, 2025 town meeting. I don't know if Michael wants to say anything more about it, so.
Where is he designating them
It'd
to?
be good to know where
He's,
that's, who's
yeah.
gonna disperse that.
My understanding is keeping it where it is, it's not being moved.
Yeah.
But I'll let him voice that.
Where did he go?
He's making Richard a
Oh,
packet.
he's getting a copy.
Yes.
Thank you, Michael. So, whereas we have disbanded the ordinance review committee, it seems somewhat ingenuine to authorize $15,000 to finance something.
I read everything, Michael,
Yeah.
so we're waiting for
It went
your
in.
Oh, okay.
tutelage on it.
That's my question
Where
too.
it's
Yeah,
going.
no,
Where's it going?
Where is that going?
I looked into that, the verbiage of that, because at the town meeting, Article 25 said to authorize $15,000 undesignated fund for the ordinance review committee, for ordinance review. And whereas the ordinance, these funds would be used to review the actual ordinances you have. So right now, you've got ordinances pending that need to go to legal, and then have some professional services done with those, that it's a straight face transfer. But whereas it did have in their ordinance review committee, that's why I put it as a financial resolve for the board, so that this is very transparent. But that was the intention of these funds, was to be able to do legal review of these ordinances that are going on the warrant and also to have, professional services, including planning services and legal services. And so currently, right now, to have that reviewed, it's come out of our legal budget, which is no surprise. Our legal budget is already mostly accounted for. So that's why I put it in, to be transparent, but that's what those funds were put in for. That's what the town meeting voted for, is to have those funds to review, to have those ordinances for next year professionally reviewed before they went back to be voted on.
So, article resolved here, payables warrant number 42, was the December bill for our lawyers. It was $24,980 and change for just the month of December. And our attorneys have told us that on our current trajectory, that we can expect those bills to be ramping up dramatically in the future. So if we take $25,000 for the month of December and extrapolate that over 12 months, we're talking about $300,000 at our current payout level. Something that I think that the board is beginning to think about whether or not this is in the best interest of the town. And if we expand that further, we could very easily be looking at $500,000 in legal fees to do something that is not necessary. The Ordinance Review Committee has been disbanded because they have pretty well turned every rock, stick, stump, and stone. And now they want to continue to, or this resolve would suggest that we continue to spend money in that way when we are already grossly overextended.
So you've got a couple of different issues there.
Yeah.
But as far as the financial resolve goes, the financial resolve, the planning board's been working, reviewing these ordinances, and the ordinances that you have, and also going to be discussed tonight, are brought to the board to bring those forward, to look at those. So that's really part of the action of the board, to tell the planning board what they want them to work on, and they have and they will be, and there's a cost involved with that. So what you're looking at now is getting prepared to have all the dates set that we'll discuss in a little bit of these ordinances. But that's why the town passes money, is to have these ordinances reviewed that were given a blessing by the Board of Selectmen to move forward with.
Michael, the planning board has come before the Board of Selectmen now 3 or 4 times and asked for directions. And the board has repeatedly said, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So continuing to spend another $15,000 on legal fees to fix ordinances that aren't broken, where there are no problems, doesn't seem to be in the best interest of the town of Sebago's taxpayers. We don't have a problem, so why are we trying to fix it by throwing more money at it that we can't afford?
So if the issue is future ordinance review, that can be a discussion the board has. Currently, on my end of it, is that we do have a cost, we do have some legal review already, we do have professional services that we have to pay our bills, and that these funds were set up for that, and to be able to draw some of these funds right now to pay the bills that we've already incurred, if that's something you want to limit to the expenditures of the bills that we currently have spent, you can certainly do that. And then if you're going to continue on with reviewing these ordinances and wanting legal review, then you should be able to draw the rest out of that. If the board does not want to continue having the ordinances reviewed or have them looked at legally or professionally, that's a policy issue, so that's up to the board.
Are you suggesting that money has already been spent that would be coming from this resolve that has not yet been voted on?
I'm suggesting that it'd be easier for us to draw some of the funds from what this was intended for, than to continue to try to take it out of our planning account and our legal account with our current budget the way it is.
Michael, you know I like you, but our legal account is grossly overspent already. And I'm suggesting to you that this is someplace where we might save $15,000, which is an unnecessary expense because we do not have a problem with any of the ordinances that we know of at this time. We're looking into a crystal ball going, well, what if this becomes a problem someday? What if the sky falls, Henny Penny?
Yeah, I think, Richard, that, then again, it's a policy issue. If you guys want to stop doing that, you certainly can. We have bills, that we do have current bills, and if you want to stop spending money on that, that's up to the board to vote to see if they want to continue with that and have that on the warrant this year. But they've certainly been working on it, and I believe under the belief that they were given a blessing on some of these to go forward. And I'm going to be presenting tonight some ones they believe need to go forward.
I have a suggestion. Why don't we move this C, financial resolve, and move it towards, put it towards, I don't know, old business E, and then listen,
go back.
and then go back to it, because
We
I
can
think,
keep it there and go back
so
to
we
it
can ask
after
some questions, yeah.
Old business A of ordinance review process.
That's fine.
Why can't
Is
we-
everybody okay with that?
So we're gonna discuss it tonight.
We'll discuss it tonight, but we're gonna go through so that we can
Let's get through the rest of it.
get through the rest
Okay.
of it, and then we'll come
I
back
think
with
it's
it.
out of order.
Yeah, and I don't even think that it's, I didn't want to get too deep into it. It's just opening up them funds that I want to be transparent, because I thought it was written a little oddly, and that when it was written, we didn't know that the ordinance review committee would be collapsed. We expected to utilize those funds.
I'll reserve my comment until.
So I'd like to address it later.
Yeah.
Is everybody okay with
As long as we're
that?
addressing it tonight.
Richard, you
Okay.
okay with that? Okay. So just bring it up wherever you said.
Yeah, I think we can go back to it after
Okay.
we do old business ordinance review
Okay.
that we had people.
Well, we're gonna move on to that now. So let's go to old business ordinance review process.
So, under the ordinance review process, we provided some backup to this, and I think that we wanted to take the road standards off for the night because it wasn't ready to go forward. But I believe we have members of the planning board here that are working on, and the fire chief also, working on the fire alarm nuisance and the fire hydrant, that you should have attachments of that, and why that's needed and where they're at. And also, we laid out some dates here. I believe some have to be moved around, but when this was originally written, Garrett and myself and town clerk, we put in some dates in here, because no matter what you do going forward, you gotta remember we have to meet the dates of printings and postings and all that to go with it. So that's why those dates are in there, and some of them are tentative and some of them aren't. But I believe that we have members here of the planning board that are ready to speak on that, and I believe the fire chief wants some input. But if you don't mind, we'll let Bob, the Liberty, if he's a spokesperson, I don't want to put words in his mouth.
Well, we have two ordinance proposals that are based from the fire department, essentially. We have one that's for fire hydrant ordinances, fire hydrant ordinance, and nuisance fire alarm ordinance. Both of those have a lot of purpose, particularly as the town is expanding and the likes. Let me speak to the fire hydrant ordinance. Now, as you can see, basically the problem challenge around here is there's currently little ordinance guiding regarding the installation of hydrants in the town of Sebago. Even though an ordinance was written a number of years ago, it was never implemented at that point in time. And of course, we have more and more residents since then, so it becomes more important as we're facing subdivisions and things like that. The goal of this essentially is to provide specifics on the installation and maintenance of new fire hydrants being built alongside housing developments. I think that makes sense all by itself. Our resolution essentially is that we want all proposed developments with 3 or more house lots to have hydrants piped to a minimum of 15,000 gallon water source within 800 feet of proposed houses. Okay, so there's enough time there to build a period of time for additional support to get to the fire, and they can pump water for several minutes over the meantime. Okay? So that's not to entirely extinguish a fire, that's only to give them some time to get more resources there, if there is a fire. And we also want to grant the fire chief authority on the acceptance of plans for dry hydrants or cisterns, okay? And provide specifics on newly installed hydrants. We do need a bunch of definitions, they're not quite on your sheet right there, but there's a dozen or so that fit within this ordinance around associations, around developers, around dry hydrants, designees and the likes. And so this is our proposal. Phil, do you want to say a couple words?
Yep, we moved that up to 20,000 gallons for the minimum for a cistern tank. Basically, it's to, like Mr. Liberty said, this was drafted back in 2010, but it never got voted in on. With the growth of the town, as everyone has seen around it, it's time to rehash this and actually get something on the books to have some teeth behind it, because development is coming whether we like it or not. And we need to make sure that we're providing the best fire protection possible for the growth of this town, especially with what has happened this past year. As you guys know, it was an extremely dry year. 3/4 of our dry hydrants were dry because of that. So we need to move in the direction that provides the best protection for this town when the need is called upon. So that's why we're asking permission from the board to move forward with this, to get more definition and legal input so that we can have the proper public hearings and then put this on the warrant for town meeting.
So would the general idea be that new development would shoulder the cost of these units?
Yes.
I couldn't agree more.
Is there any estimate as to what the cost of a 15,000 gallon reservoir or a 40,000 gallon reservoir might be?
I don't know that off the
I
top of my
believe
head.
this was probably 2 or 3 years ago. I got an estimate for basically a 25,000 gallon cistern tank, pipe, head and riser, and install was roughly around $65,000. And that's a concrete chamber that holds 25,000 gallons of water.
And that was 3 years ago.
Yes.
Are we going to allow the open type that we did just this side of the bridge?
The fire ponds,
Yeah.
if they're stamped certified to hold a certain amount of water.
That was engineered when I was on
Correct.
the planning board, and that's the
Was that,
best one we have in town.
was that engineered for 35 or 60,000 gallons? Do you remember?
I don't remember the gallons, but it was approved at that time.
Correct.
And I think you were involved with that as well.
That was just before my time, that was
Okay.
former Chief Littlefield.
Well, we had some issues with other ones in the past, and we still do.
Yep.
Some of those, you kind of wear those forever until there's something better. This is a great idea. Other towns have been doing this for a long time. The onslaught of growth is coming. There's no question on it. And to the degree we can put the shoulder of that cost in the development cost, that's where it belongs. So,
Yes.
thank you.
So are you going to tie this into the land use ordinance? Because I'm assuming, doing some research, I noticed that towns were tying it with the land use ordinance. Because they'll have to update, I would assume. I tried to look it up today, but I couldn't find anything. So I would assume that there would have to be something that would accommodate, or give a addendum, or whatever you want to call it, but something will have to be tied to the land use ordinance.
Yeah, and probably in the subdivision area.
Yeah, it could be either way, a standalone, or it could be part of a subdivision. If you only want to tie it to subdivision, you could do it within the subdivision, but it could be either way.
Did you look to see how the other towns had it written in their ordinances? Did you do any research?
We haven't done much that way. Phil brought this forward and has experience in that anyway in terms of where it's being used or what's been written about it before. But it's a fairly common process.
We have a fire ordinance in the large book of ordinances. What is it? How many ordinances are in our book? 17, is it?
But my question,
Fire ordinance.
Yeah, we're talking about surrounding towns, which I actually did some homework and I have some here.
yeah, no, I was
Because
just
I didn't think
asking if the
Right, yeah.
research was done to look to see how, because many
No, but I
towns.
did it.
I know. so many towns around us have the same ordinance.
I have a question.
Sure.
You can't drive 5 minutes in this town without running by a body of water. Why aren't we plugging into Sebago Lake, Hancock Pond, Peabody Pond?
So, going through some of my notes, I did ask Phil this early today, because in some areas, the Portland Water District need to be notified, so I know there's a lot more work to be done here on it, but I did bring it up. Just digging into some of the verbiage of what Wyndham has, Lewiston, Gorham, so.
I can go a little further with Andrew's question in regards to the ponds. A lot of it, we are working with the permitting process for DEP for Peabody Pond, which was part of the White's project. That's moving forward. We're waiting for the permit from the state. The state is moving extremely slowly. Hancock Pond, it's a matter of gaining access. Someone has to give the town a deed right away or sign off on location, because the town has no public land to that. To Hancock Pond. That's Denmark. We're working on fixing the hydrant on Marathon for Sebago Lake, but again, that's a PBR permit, because that's water district. And the other things is some of those smaller ponds that you see, those also, excuse me, are private, so we need authorization from said landowners to put said pipe in. It's not just find a water hole, you stick a pipe in it. We need permission from landowners to deed right-of-way access to maintain said hydrant.
So you're gonna put a cistern in new subdivisions, we'll call it.
There's already one.
Who's gonna be in charge of making sure that thing's full of water?
It usually is somebody in the fire department.
Once we have it signed off on as far as the town's responsibility of it. A lot of the times, it's the association that maintains it. They would ask us graciously to fill it, and we would do it like a training on a tanker shuttle.
Yep.
And get training out of it at the same time while we fill it at no cost to
I think
them.
as long as we're controlling the oversight.
Correct.
Somebody in your
Does that need to
control.
be written into the ordinance as far as
Yeah.
maintenance and so
Yeah,
forth, I'm
it should.
assuming?
Right,
And,
again,
and the obligation to who has to repair it as well.
correct.
Because
If
we've
the
got some past
association still
subdivisions
maintains
that
it,
are
then
in that.
they're responsible for maintaining it.
That's
If
a
they-
good point.
I think it's an
So when do
association.
you think a draft of whatever, how you're gonna propose this? Is it fire hydrant ordinance? I'm assuming that's the
Dry
title.
hydrant
because-
ordinance,
what-
yeah.
I'm sorry?
Dry hydrant ordinance.
Oh, this is fire
Andrew
hydrant.
still has a question.
So when do you think a real draft would come forward?
Well, first of all, we need permission from you guys to continue moving forward.
This is all contingent on these subdivisions being associations.
Well,
A lot of the subdivisions, or a lot of the roads around here, Molly Lane, the other subdivisions up here, those aren't associations, those are just roads.
and those also have hydrants. They have dry
Okay,
hydrants.
well, I'm just saying, okay, so you got a project down the street.
Oh, he's got a valid point. You have to have a mechanism, like a road association, to be able to correct problems
I
on the
mean, if you
road.
wanna build somebody, you
This would
can't
be
say,
the
well, you
same
live
way
this
for
side, I'm gonna
hydrants.
build you.
And if we have, we should check on this, obviously, in the development of this ordinance, but that's a good point. You have to have somebody to go to say, you gotta fix that.
Right, but again.
And without an association, you may find you're lacking structure.
Right, but to go back on, the biggest point is we're looking for permission from the board to continue moving
Yeah.
forward.
No, it's clear that you just wanted to start working on it.
Need a motion?
Yeah, we need a motion.
So wait a second, I'm not ready yet.
You're not
So,
ready for a
well,
motion?
we can
All
make
it,
a
all we're
motion and we can
motioning
discuss
is
it.
for them to work on it. Doesn't mean we're approving anything.
Okay.
All they wanna do is their homework.
So,
Sounds like a good idea, should have done it before we started this. But anyway.
so I'll make a motion that we accept this lineage and put-
Allow the planning board to
have
continue
the
moving
fire
forward.
department get with the planning board and so forth, and whatever they have to do to put this ordinance together, because it's sure needed.
That's all we're looking for, is the blessing from the board, because we can't move forward without the blessing of the board to continue moving the process with developing this ordinance.
So, Phil,
Yes, sir.
one of the things that you said was that you wanted a 40,000 gallon reservoir.
No,
20.
20,000 gallon cistern tank.
I have 15,000, 40,000, and 25,000 so far. Pick one.
Okay, it was 20. I don't know where those.
I don't know where the other
numbers
numbers came from.
Well, no, these are the numbers that came out. The cistern tank was 40,000. The original tank for 3 lots was gonna be 15,000. And then your quote of $65,000 was on a 25,000 gallon system 3 years ago,
Correct,
which
sir.
basically means that's $100,000 today.
Prices haven't gone up that much, Richard.
I look around, I'm up against it every day.
Yeah, but as far as concrete and stuff, those are pre-stamped.
I hope you're right.
Those are pre-stamped cast, they're basically.
Well, that's gonna be a
glorified-
developer problem.
It'll take a couple
Correct.
calls to
That's
figure
not-
that
That's
out.
not the town's
Right,
problem.
right.
Well, the town's problem is gonna be though, that if it's 3 lots that are connected to this one cistern, you just added $35,000 to every lot. And you need to keep,
But Richard, that's not your problem. That's not my problem. That's the developer's
It's a
problem.
well,
developer's.
it's gonna be the purchaser's problem at some point.
Well,
Yes,
But
it is.
the other kicker is your insurance is gonna
But it's
go
not
down
ours.
because you've also got,
I'm not
Pick
against
and
it.
choose,
Not in our-
gotta pick and choose our battles, I would imagine. I
I'm
knew
not
it
against
once.
this, I'm
You
just
brought
saying,
something up.
you have to look at the whole picture.
yeah.
If it's more than 3 houses,
I'm expecting there'll
maybe
be a
be 4 or
hearing on
5.
this at some point after there's been a lot of debate, and there's a ways to go
Yeah,
here.
we-
He's just
I,
looking,
I know you just want permission to go
Yeah,
forward, but I'm just,
exactly.
now I'm thinking, anything over 3 houses, I'm sure you'll have some form of
Yep.
1 or 2 or whatever, how that works in acreage or whatever, so. All right, do we have a motion for them to work on this?
I made it.
You made it? Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Thank you,
All right,
John.
so you have the green light for the hydrant, so talk about the alarm.
Changing it to dry hydrant, right?
Dry hydrant, well, whatever, they'll change, well, I'm not gonna. Nitpick it tonight.
The next one is around nuisance fire alarm ordinance, and I'll go through this briefly and then ask Phil to talk more about this, because this directly affects them and lots of other towns at the same time. But the problem or challenge here is simply that in Sebago, we currently have multiple false fire alarms. And these fire alarms cost the fire department a significant amount of money, as multiple trucks are needed to mobilize these in response. The area that's causing the problem right now is the group home that's up on 114.
The what
They've
now?
had numbers of false fire alarms.
Is there some
Nor
logical,
restorative,
what's that?
nor restorative on Sebago Road. The group home.
Oh, and this is a
Homes.
repeated
Noro
thing?
restorative.
I would say there should be a fee. In a repeat situation, you know,
Hence
can't,
why we're asking permission from the board to create a nuisance fire alarm ordinance, because at this present time, I have no teeth to send them a bill.
understood.
So let me go through the rest of this for a moment. Okay, so the ordinance we're talking about is exactly that. We'll give the town the ability to fine false alarm repetitions. And again, the fines aren't meant to recoup the costs for mobilization, but to persuade repeat offenders to address the problem, so it doesn't continue to happen. And so, the resolution we're talking about or discussing is after an address calls 3 fire alarms in a year, repeat false fire alarms incur a penalty, and that 4th alarm would be $500 fine, with additional false alarms incurring a $1,000 fine. Some of the key points, the $500 fines in the 4th false alarm in a year address, and $1,000 for any additional false alarms, and provides the town with the ability to enforce fines on a repeat basis. That's the most important thing. And there'll never be a suspension of emergency response. The fire department will always be responding to alarms for safety considerations. Okay? We'll need a bunch of definitions to work on this and the likes. And we'll have to work that out as well, but we think it's worthwhile to at least move forward with this. And Phil, I'm sure you can add a few more comments.
Yeah, Richard's pointing to me, so I'm gonna let him ask a question.
So, what's happening up there?
Burning.
Are they pulling the,
No, burning food.
burning?
They need to hire a cook then.
Like popcorn.
Last year, we responded to over 11 false alarms for burnt food of those
Really?
residents up there.
It's time to,
Microwave
Make it count.
popcorn will do that.
It actually did
You
it
need
at
a motion,
Goodland's
John?
Lodge once during
You need
the
a
football
motion?
game.
Yeah, we need a motion for it.
well, I'll make the motion, and we may want to discuss it further, but I'll make the motion, put it on the floor, that we also allow our group to work on an ordinance for fire alarms.
Do we have a second?
Nuisance fire alarms.
Nuisance fire alarms?
Is that how you want to write it?
Yes.
Okay.
Add that to my motion.
Does,
Thank you.
do we have a second?
I'll
need a
second it,
second.
but there needs further discussion.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask for, yeah, if you second it, I'll further discussion. Go ahead.
So,
I'm gonna start calling you Sue.
when, Phil, a fire is a fire, and I have the detector systems that you're answering to, is called rate of rise generally,
Those are heat sensors.
right? So that the temperature goes up more than 40 degrees at the ceiling in less than 30 seconds. The rate of rise sensors are going, holy smokes, there's a fire here, call the fire department, and they call Central Station, and Central Station calls y'all. And it's a good system, but how the hell are you gonna control that?
It's called maintenance.
Is there a way to handle this, really? In my mind's eye, I'm trying to look at the problem, and I don't know how to do it.
Well, it's called maintenance. If you have a monitored system, they should be coming in once a year to maintain, check your heads, check your smokes, make sure everything's clean. If you're not doing the maintenance, you're gonna start to have issues occur constantly.
So you think it's a maintenance issue?
Well, they've changed, I've got them to change the smoke detectors that were in the kitchen to rate of rise, but we've also got other detectors because some of these buildings are open concept. Smoke travels.
Oh, yeah, fast.
So, but when we're getting woken up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning
Oh, it
multiple
sucks.
times to burn food,
No, it's a problem.
again, this ordinance is not to penalize people, it's to educate and also kind of encourage of proper maintenance, making sure your stuff is up to snuff, maybe not cooking at 3 o'clock in the morning.
So this would give you, the fire chief,
This gives me the teeth.
the teeth to negotiate with the fire alarm people who might and might not be doing it
The
correctly.
residents of the building, not just commercial, but also residential.
Right.
That, hey, you might have a problem, let's figure this out so we can address it and stop, being woken up and going to a constant alarm going off.
I yield the floor.
Because the other
Again,
thing
this is opening up the development
Right.
of this item.
correct, this is just the first stage, and it's not just for commercial, but any residential monitored system. If you're, Nancy Joe Schmo, and your smoke detector goes off and you call, that's not a nuisance alarm. You're a private individual saying, my alarm's going off, can you please come and check it out? These are for monitored systems that they get notified at their central dispatch, their dispatch calls us, we get activated. Sebago Place, for example, there's 8 pieces of equipment that roll for that call. 7 out of this town and 1 out of the neighboring town. We require Naples Ladder to respond to those calls. The reason why, because I've been asked, why don't you downgrade the box? That's a dormitory style structure. There's people living there, they have mental capacities. We have to respond with the proper equipment to the assigned box. So that's why there's 7 pieces out of this town and 1 out of the following for burnt food. And it's, 2
o'clock in the morning.
Correct. And I'm not trying to penalize or hurt them, but after so many times, it's time to
Do
say, hey.
you write them up?
Say it again?
Do you write them up? Like if you go there and you got called and it's a false alarm, do you
I talk
do
to
you write
whoever's.
a written penalty, like line,
I
like
have
showing
no-
up?
I have nothing.
So you have
I
no,
have no
you can't do
juris-
anything,
You'll
you
be
just
able
show
to
up,
do
do your
that.
job and leave.
Correct. And the problem is, staff rotates over, as everyone knows, it's, some of these facilities, it's a high burnout rate, so it's new staff from time to time. And it's not just that place, there's other residents in town that we used to go to on a regular basis that we've fixed that problem. But again, until I have something on the books, I have no teeth.
And Phil, why can't they call that off? They know it's a smoke.
Because it's a state funded.
Because
What's their
it's a
call?
healthcare
Alarms,
facility, you can't,
Everything goes.
you can't
Yes.
withstand that.
Call in and say cancel.
We still have to go and verify
Yeah.
it was burnt food. They used to reset the alarm before we got here. I took their keys and advised them, where it's a monitored system, I can have you fined and arrested by resetting that system
That's
until we
right.
get there to
That's fair
verify that it's a false alarm.
Is it the staff or the residents?
It's
It could be,
both.
I would say supervision.
It's both. But again, on any monitored system, we have to still physically get on scene and verify, yes, it was burnt food. If we say, oh, the alarm company's called back saying false alarm, and next thing you know, I look out and I see glow in the distance, this town is on the hook.
Yes, right.
That's why on any alarm, we have to go and verify, boots on the ground, that it's a false alarm or it's an actual alarm.
I suggest we move the question.
Yeah, I don't have any further discussion. If we're all in favor for them moving forward to,
Just for the development, so.
are we all in
Motion
favor
and
for that? We've got our motion and second.
Yeah.
All in favor? Okay.
And to go back,
Thank you.
yep, I just wanted to go back a little bit with what Michael was talking about in regards to the resolution, or the financial resolution. Thank you, resolve, geez. Yeah. I'm not an ordinance person, I'm not a legal person, I don't know how to write this stuff, and this is where some of this would come into play, to have them look at our draft and say, what legally needs to, what are the legal,
And it costs money.
exactly, so I just
Well,
wanted
there
to
is
clarify what
liability and
we
stuff
were
involved, yeah.
referring to, Richard, as
It
far
could be
as-
done by MMA instead of
No, we can't. They won't.
Woodson and Drummond for $750.
They won't do that.
No.
They
All
won't do
right,
any of it?
is there anything else from the ordinance? Because right now, from what I understand, is roads is not being discussed, these dates need to be corrected. Is there anything else before we move forward? Okay. All right, we're gonna move on to committee bylaws.
We're gonna go back to consent agenda.
Oh, yeah? Oh. Okay, so you're gonna stick it in there?
As you just did your mandates, don't make it unfunded. As we just discussed, if that was the area you wanted to be stopped, then that's a policy issue with that. But now, as you know, you've just made motions to bring this forward, so we want to be able to allow to draw some funds for these ordinance reviews, for professional review from this financial result.
Once this fund is dissolved, then that's it, right? The funds,
Yeah, so what's not spent out of that fund just lapses back to fund balance where it's at right now. It wasn't raised from appropriation, it's from fund balance.
okay.
So we
We
have
gotta make a
had
motion.
other discussion at this point.
Well, we gotta make a motion,
Yeah,
we gotta
put it on.
second, and then we gotta discuss it.
Put it on the table.
I can't make a motion, so someone's gonna make it. Come on, people.
Seeing none,
I'll make a motion that we open a discussion on funding ordinance reviews in the future.
Okay,
Second.
all right, so let's have a discussion on it.
Okay, quite frankly, I disagree with your concept, Richard, that there's nothing wrong. And to frame it, I'll bring up that in the middle of last summer, a neighboring town, Standish, had 600 units being in the approval process at one point in time. That is coming this way, not 600 probably, but growth is definitely coming this way. The abandonment of the ordinance committee left $20,000 on the table that was returned to the undesignated fund as it should have been. But to think we didn't need those funds or don't need to fund ordinance reviews on the legal side is setting ourselves up for a lot of expense down the road. And it will make the $20,000 a year or whatever is used out of that, it'll make it look like peanuts.
so a question to just have this conversation. How much money, Michael, is set aside for our legal funding, or just general legal funding for the town at this time? I think it's 7 different accounts.
Yeah, no, I'm in the legal account, should be $50,000 that was passed.
We got what?
Plus you have the authority to spend out of the fund balance if needed. So right now, yeah, So $50,000 was funded out of property taxation, so it was raised and appropriated as part of our mill rate. And then you have the right to go back into our unnecessary fund balance if you overexpend that amount.
And by how much?
I think it was
Another
50,000.
50,000, right?
By how much?
I
75.
think
I think it's
I
another
think it's
50.
50, but I don't have it right. Someone has a town.
The additional
I have a town
75?
What's it say?
Thank you.
Would you say?
75.
Article 23,
23,
Take
$75,000.
$75,000.
Yeah, and then 24, town will vote.
We've already spent more than
$50,000.
that.
Well, you're talking the warrant item for
Well, there's-
emergency. use,
Personal
right?
emergencies,
Article 10, under administration, I assume was 50 grand.
The base amount in the,
I don't remember, it was 50 or
in-
75.
yeah, it was, you're right. It's-
So the legal was 50,000, then it was written specifically.
75.
And then in article number 23, I believe it was, says to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to appropriate up to 75 grand for from the undesignated fund as they deem advisable to meet unexpected legal expenses, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and when you go down to Article 25, that's the one I'm basing it on.
That's the ordinance view, it's 15
That,
grand.
that
Yeah,
one.
so 125 and then 125.
Yeah,
say
yeah, but it's not,
125?
it's not 125 in one box. We have the town's approval for 50 to start with.
You have 50, and to spend it on anything else, like the 50,000 illegal, I put in a warrant, a legal warrant. If I want to take it out of those funds, I have to go to the Board of Selectmen at an
Right.
open meeting, like we're doing right now. That's an open meeting that you're
Yep.
in right now, that
Correct.
allows me to spend out of that. I can't spend out of that without an open select board meeting.
But the resolve we were just talking about wasn't legal, it was for ordinances, correct?
That's correct.
But
So,
we've already spent 124,009 as of January 1st
Not on ordinances.
on legal.
On, yes, legal.
Okay.
Well, I don't know where we are, I
Two
don't know
separate-
where we are
well,
today
two
with
separate
legal.
things here, we're dealing with.
It's two separate
ordinances,
things. This is to be used for ordinances.
Right.
I understand.
That's it. So that's what we're looking to do, is take this, because we're top heavy in our legal fees right now.
And what was the amount on that resolution?
This one?
20?
15.
15.
And we're headed into a storm. And
Well, we
authorizing.
gotta
so
stick to
here's-
this, Richard.
That's fine, Carolyn, I agree.
That's
But what
all.
I'm suggesting to you is this document is a license to spend money.
It is.
Yes,
By our authority.
We've already spent too much money, and by signing that, you can kiss that money goodbye.
but
If they
I'm
need to use legal advice to make sure that their verbiage is correct, we should not be giving them carte blanche at this point, which is what I believe
oh,
this
it's gonna be,
document
I
does.
would assume it's gonna be controlled. I mean, it's a matter of what we push through,
So right
so.
now, it's an
Yeah,
undesignated
I'm
funds,
suggesting that
correct?
we turn this down to tell them, you've got to tighten your belts, boys. We've already spent too much money.
This allows the town manager or does need to appropriate up to the 15,000. What that still does is that these monies were specifically made for that purpose. What that also does is these funds can't, like our legal funds and our planning funds, the boards cannot spend out of this. They need to have permission through the treasurer, which is myself. So when these go through what they're working on, like what you voted on tonight, to have them work on that, that gets into allowed to pay these bills with the lawyers or other professional services to spend that. If they went to legal, the planning board and said, hey, Amy, we want you to work on it, she worked on it, I wouldn't pay her, she knows that, they don't have authority to do that, you don't have authority to do that, you're not the treasurer. But all this does is allow, when these bills come out, when you voted to move these forward, is allow that to draw out of those accounts.
I understand that, Michael, but this is a volunteer committee.
The committee's no longer. Forget the committee.
The
He's talking about the
the planning board
The planning board
is
is
a
a board.
volunteer
That's,
board.
is a board.
They're not
Yes.
spending any money.
So
No.
I
I'm
have,
suggesting that we can steal a few dollars here and steal a few dollars there to get whatever Amy Chow's bill might be. Because right now, Amy Chow is delivering us some whopping bills on a pretty regular basis, and this is just a license to send us another one.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
So it's in undesignated funds right now. So if you get this $15,000 tonight, you're paying it to whom? Or putting it where?
I'm not touching anything until they are at the point where their ordinances, if they need legal review or they paid for professional review, like an engineer to look at something.
Like the town
that-
planner.
Then that would cover those bills. It would still come to you at a warrant form like everything else does, but it would be based off of the expenditures for reviewing these ordinances that you approved to go forward.
And where are they being paid from right now?
Right now, they would be paid from planner services or our legal bills, or legal fees.
Okay.
So right now, we're working on the roads. So I have gravel roads, but we have, so I'm just trying to get, we're working on the roads. We're working on, well, I believe, I don't know if they're working on this, it's the marijuana ordinance. I'm assuming that's still, there's two, right? And then,
We have some state housing ordinances too. that
well,
have-
yeah, but the
it's a
state,
mandate that
that's
we
a
work-
mandate from the state, so.
Yeah, but we gotta pay for it.
We gotta pay for it, so, yeah, but, so we have those, 1, 2, 3, and then,
So there's two more.
now we have 2 more that they're gonna start working on, so we're up to 5. Is that correct?
At least.
Did someone from the board, planning board answer that?
Right?
And we do have, oh, go ahead.
Is there
No, I
a
have another
list?
question, finish up with Kim.
All I wanna know is, that's what I have from my notes that right now has been brought to the board to be worked on, between the planning board and the CEO. Am I missing something?
The only other ones we have worked on or talked on at all are the temporary paving plants and temporary cement plants.
Okay, so those weren't approved from the select board. It was already discussed previous, it was supposed to be a table change. So we didn't approve those to go through.
Supposed to be a table change.
Those were a table change, those were already worked on, discussed, whatever, and they were supposed to be changed on the table.
Mhm.
Chart, right?
They
So
were.
we have 5 right now.
Okay.
That's what I have in my notes. Does anyone else, you guys
But
keep
let
a
me
note?
ask you a
Sounds about right.
question. Let
Sounds
me ask,
about right.
let me ask a question though, that your cement plants and why were those never updated? Why were those never brought through? It's been a year and a half at least.
Well, so it's funny you say that.
We took it all the way through hearings, and we're ready to present it to the attorneys to do their fine tuning.
So,
That was done last spring, a year ago.
It's a table update.
it was a table update that the
It's
select board
taken- It's
approved.
taken a
It's
year
not
and a half
much,
to get
but
it.
that's not us, you guys blocked it.
Okay, so you know what?
I didn't,
No, we didn't block it.
We just
I don't know
never-
where, I don't know where it went.
We tabled it, is what we did.
We might have-
felt it
maybe it
was
was
not
tabled.
necessary at this time.
So I've been looking everywhere for all of these and they're not anywhere.
That's my question too. Is there a list of what you have for drafts, what you're working on? Can we see that?
What we have for drafts is exactly what we just talked
Can
about.
we see a table that says
Because I
the
mean-
ordinance name and the status of?
Well,
I
I
mean,
think
that
I
would be
can help
helpful.
them with you just as a matter of reserving some warrant article numbers for you that I have, and then we'll use that.
I'm gonna have to because we don't have any record of it anywhere.
Well, so the motion is for $15,000 tonight?
So now let's go back to that, yeah. So we're actually going back to, yeah, no, I know. It's to,
Tina has a question.
so, I mean, we are, go ahead, Tina.
Okay. We've only spent, as Bob said, about $3,000
$3,000.
this year on ordinances. Well,
You've spent $3,000 on ordinances?
yeah,
That's for last year's.
From last year's.
Actually, yeah.
that's not what I want to talk about.
We haven't spent any money this
Coming year.
coming year.
Nothing's gone to the lawyer yet. Well, nothing can't go to the lawyer yet,
That's right.
correct. Okay, so last year you paid $3,000.
Yep.
The ORC,
Yep.
okay, they were not writing the ordinances, they were putting the information together.
Mhm.
I think, and I'm gonna fight like hell, okay, that this crew is gonna work together and write the ordinance as best we can in the language we're supposed to be using. We're not gonna send an outline to the lawyer and the lawyers to write the ordinance.
Well, we did that when we first started, And we learned that that was the expensive way. This is gonna take a minute. Because if we write the ordinance and then we send it into them, because an attorney has to look at every ordinance. I'm convinced of that. Others may have different opinions. But the bottom line is if you don't, and your ordinance conflicts with your own ordinance somewhere, and we would never know that, and we can never know that, but the attorneys are smart enough to know that. They also compare to other ordinances they had developed elsewhere, and they come back and tell us where we're about to screw up. So the ordinance review by attorneys is very important. If you submit an ordinance, they have to totally go through that ordinance, one motion to undo everything, figure out what the strong points are, when if we give them the strong points to start with, that piece of the cost goes away. And then they'll tell us what's legal and what agrees with our
So
ordinance.
we've got to
Let's
get
do it
to,
once, not
we
twice.
have to get to a point in this town, all right, where the people that are doing this work are either smart enough to do it or take the road.
Well,
Because I'm serious. You guys
unfortunately,
can do a
none of
decent
us
job.
are.
No, Phil, I don't wanna hear it, thank you. But when you
Tina?
just give an outline to an attorney, and this town has gotten so gun shy about lawyers, it's ridiculous.
You should talk to the attorney.
I'll talk to the attorney and explain to her what I'm talking about, in that we write the ordinance as we see it, that it fits Sebago. That's what we have to do. Amy Chow can then read through the ordinance and see the strong points and the weak
You
points.
didn't hear what I said.
I think, well.
I heard what you said,
I
and
do.
let's give it a little historical reference. 6 years ago, Sebago's legal bill for the year was a little less than $29,000. Ever since the quarry, and we have started having lawyers all over everything, we've been looking at $250,000 or more. And this year, we're looking at more, if we continue on our current trajectory, we're looking at $500,000 for legal fees. Tina is right. Other towns, Portland, Gorham, Standish, hire lots of attorneys to make sure that their ordinances are perfect. Well, attorneys have got to go over it, and Phil is right about this, at some point. But we don't have to reinvent the wheel every time we want a new ordinance. We can look at the situation, let's say concrete plans, and look at the different communities in the neighborhood who've been up against the same problem and ultimately had to solve it. And glean from their ordinances what works, what doesn't work, and we don't have to pay $50,000 for that. At the end of the day, Tina is right. If the people that we put on these boards should have some basic raw intelligence and some background experience, and if they don't have it, they get it while they're doing this job. And Andrew, for Christ's sakes, this guy's so well-researched, it's ridiculous. But at the end of the day, we finish our ordinance based upon all the best information we can get, and we give that to Amy, and it's not for Amy to look at every other ordinance and could there possibly be a conflict here. She should have, by this time, she's represented this town for 20 years, she should know every one of the goddamn ordinances by heart. She shouldn't have to go reinvent the wheel either.
So.
You guys are smart enough to look around at the other communities, figure out what ordinance it is that you think that we need, figure out who's doing it well already, and emulate that. Then give that to Amy and say, got any ideas here? But it should be, 2-3 hours, which would be $750, not
So
$7,000.
I agree, Tina, that yes, that you guys,
When I was trying to put stuff together for the town planner and checking about the number of hours that lawyers work for the other towns, the surrounding towns around us laugh at us because we're spending so much money
And getting nowhere.
and getting nowhere.
If you're not spending it on the lawyer, the town planner is being overtaxed and being utilized in areas where
That's
So
gonna
if it-
cease.
it hasn't ceased.
No, but we have to make it cease.
Oh, yes, no, I don't
but that's
disagree
where
with
we're
that.
going back to what you're
So,
saying, is you guys
The way
should
I
be
look at
writing
it is
them.
this,
They're laughing at us.
But you should be writing them, the planning
It's
board should
supposed
be
to be.
writing them, and then
it's supposed to be.
get the facts in there, get the details, research the other towns, and then, Not just an outline sheet. You should be writing them the way they appear.
These are the draft ordinances. We
Well, I
actually
haven't
have
seen
two
them,
draft
David,
You know what?
so I don't know.
We just went through something with the town where we have a conflict in our ordinances. Has the planning board looked at any of our ordinances and seen, have you really done that? Because we just went through major exercises in this town. I don't believe you. I'm sorry, I don't, because we just went through a major ordeal in this town. And nobody has brought this up. None of you guys have come forward to fix it.
We tried to last year, but you shot down.
Oh my God. You know what, I don't agree. All right, we're gonna move on. So we have a motion and a second for
Move the
further discussion
question.
for this on the financial resolve.
Madam Chair, let's move the question.
Say that again?
Move the question, let's vote it.
I think, okay, all in favor? So,
Of what?
to
Spending the-
spend the resolve.
No.
No,
This was,
Oh, great, so maybe.
so you just shut down the entire ordinance.
So everything that we
Shut
just
down
talked
anything,
about,
Phil.
we're not gonna support. And it's gonna come out of another fund.
It's
We
gonna
have a
come out of the
legal fund, they don't need
undesignated
an
funds in the
additional
plan of legal.
15,000.
So,
It's coming out of these two funds.
okay.
That's where I'm going with it.
So this money's gonna sit in this fund.
It's just gonna go back into the general fund, where
So
it came
do-
from.
So it's
So
gonna
do
go
we-
back into the general
So,
fund.
so do we want to, it's already in the general
All right,
fund.
so we're at a
The
standstill.
question is, do we want to attach it to the emergency legal fund?
We can't move it into any other, it has to sit there and then it has to dissolve back into the, what do you
No,
call
there's,
it?
there's a warrant item.
The
And
town
this can come from
raised
that.
money, the town authorizes to be spent out to do this. If you don't authorize that, and you want this review to be completed and have some legal and professional review, or
Yep.
bills that we have, then you're gonna overexpend the accounts and appropriation. which
No, you're
means
gonna
we're
stop
have to- We can't overspend it by category, which means we're gonna have to cut back other people's budgets for
Budgets.
that. The whole intent of this was to pay for these ordinance reviews for professional legal, separated it out from any other legal issue, because they knew it was gonna be an added cost. So that was the will of the people when they voted for that, that was the intent.
The will of the people was to spend the amount that was set aside for the ordinance committee on ordinances. That went away when the committee went away, and rightfully so, that dumped, wasn't spent, it was dumped into the undesignated fund. This is just going back to rescue that money and apply it toward ordinances. That's all this is.
So last year.
If you think we shouldn't have ordinances,
Well, that's it, you
don't
voted,
develop
you
any,
voted to bring this forward.
and you will
So-
find yourself,
I don't think anybody's saying we should have ordinances. I
well,
think,
you're just shutting it down by not doing it.
You're right,
I was-
exactly, we're shutting it
I
down.
understand.
I know, but I
know
don't
you
think
are.
anybody's saying, I'm talking, that we shouldn't have ordinances. I know you're sorry, thank you for that. But they've spent $3,000 last year. Now, to move the $15,000 doesn't make sense to me, but I think more of the work needs to be done in-house. Everything is done by a town planner, or it goes to a lawyer to write an ordinance.
So we're spending a fortune.
So
Okay, but we're
I
like
don't
throwing more
believe
money
that
there.
they're too far off from what you're talking about, because if you want it legally reviewed, then it should be legally, something should be legally reviewed. But on the other side of that, everything that they work on, I find it hard to believe, because I see copies after copies in our planner. We do look at all the surrounding towns, we do look at 20
That's
different
right.
ordinances, and we do know other towns, just like us, when we pass an ordinance, what other towns will look at ours, not to reinvent the wheel, because they know our lawyer looked at it. Well, we know their lawyers looked
It's
at it.
called beg, borrow, and
Oh,
steal.
so if we know their lawyers looked at it, why are we paying for it again?
Because we're narrowing it down, like you said, to get it to specific, how do we tie that into our land use? How do we tie that into?
So now that this is not gonna go through and
Well,
we
there's a better
decided.
answer.
I
Yes,
totally missed that vote, so what was it, 2-2? or
2-2. So now,
Fail.
so what happens now? This money goes into the fund
It's,
and it sits there.
Where it is.
It just sits where it is.
That was a long conversation about $15,000.
It's what?
It just stays there and goes back into your fund balance for next year when you guys,
So it'll come up again and we'll have to discuss it again.
yeah, I just don't know what you want to do for the review by the planning board of the
So,
ordinances.
I have a question though.
Everything goes on the shelf if you do that.
What's that?
So the planning board,
Everything that you develop,
I
you
know
can
that.
still develop,
That- well,
but
that's-
everything
Well, then,
that you
you're gonna
develop
have to
just goes
halt,
on
you're
the
gonna have to
shelf.
halt the town planner then, because that they've got all, he's got crazy.
Point of
Who
order.
authorized the town planner to work on the ordinances, because it wasn't the planning board?
It wasn't us.
Well, I'd like to know.
What did
who
you
it was,
just say?
because
How can you ask us that question,
So
David?
when you go
David,
to,
what
No,
did you
whoa! How can you ask us that question?
I'm wondering who authorized.
Well, I don't know, David, I hear you call him quite a bit. It's
What?
not us, it's not the select board.
but the two of you run the meetings, but the town planner runs the meeting, so why aren't you telling the town planner?
Ask Bob.
We've got this.
Bob, can you answer that question? I'd like to know that answer myself.
So ask your question one more time amongst all this noise.
What David just asked. Who authorized the town planner to write the ordinances? It wasn't us.
Has he been writing?
Yes,
Ordinances?
yeah.
Apparently.
Oh, he has.
He has been helping. He has been helping.
Helping is
He's not helping, he's
run
writing.
it by his eyes
We
and
did
have
not authorize
We
that.
didn't authorize it, he's been writing.
So
Tell him in your meetings not to do it, and take it back from him and write it yourselves.
That ordinance that he wrote showed up like, what, last meeting or the meeting before, we had no, I had no idea he was even doing it, so. yeah.
What do you
the
mean?
one with the, I asked Christina about this today. And apparently there's two other versions of it. Our version was December, what, 15th, the road? What was that packet? I brought everything tonight, because I knew this was
This
gonna
may
come.
be opening up in a world that I shouldn't be opening up. I'm totally frustrated. The last meeting, we had a booklet that he put together for the
Yeah, I'm looking it up
ordinances.
now. 'Cause I brought it with me.
Somebody, I don't know who, gave him the wrong ordinances.
I was working on a gravel road, David McCarthy and myself were given the task of writing the road ordinances. We weren't certain as to what ordinances we wanted to write as far as the roads went. So we wrote a gravel road ordinance and a private road ordinance, and I've got those drafts. And then all of a sudden, the town planner was working on it. I have no idea where that came from.
Yeah, well, it wasn't us. And I can
He's
honestly
working
tell
on it.
you, I don't speak to the town planner, I
He
don't
was
call him.
working off of the 2024 version of the ordinances and not the 2025, because as I'm going through, I'm saying, that's not right. We don't, no, we changed that. And he admitted, he had the wrong set of ordinances in the manual.
Then tell him to start writing it.
Pardon me.
Why isn't anybody policing that? He's in it every
We did
meeting.
it the last meeting, but we didn't know this was all going on, this was like dropped on, I said.
I just love how you come in here and ask us these crazy questions. I mean,
Wait a minute,
do you
the
know
town
what's
planner
going
is
on in the
supposed to work for
meetings?
you.
It's your meeting,
No
not
one for
mine.
us.
Richard, it's amazing, that's the way he was hired.
Yeah, I
That's the
know.
way it was originally written.
He's supposed to work for you.
Goddamn, everything.
He shouldn't
has
be
been
doing
put
anything
in.
without your knowledge.
The town planner has been put into every single ordinance there is in this town.
All right, okay, let's move on, because you know what? We're not getting anywhere, and I don't need it.
I just have one closing quick comment, and that's that
Don't start something.
$3,000 is what we've spent on attorney fees for last year's, all of their
Right.
ordinances. We gave them the drafts in the order that I read them today, for instance, and the attorneys took them the rest of the way for $3,000. Just so you know that.
Sounds about right.
It wasn't a huge amount of money.
Sounds about right.
I have a question. Phil, I'm asking you as a fire chief.
Yes.
Do you have to have an ordinance for that authority? For the, do you have to have an ordinance?
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
I have no teeth.
I was just wondering.
Yep.
This is about the fines, Carolyn?
Yeah, we cannot
It's the
find
same with the
people anyway.
CDO.
I was
So
just,
when that's
I'm just
worded-
asking a question, I don't know that answer.
why don't
When that's worded, it has to be worded in such a way that when it gets enforced through Rule 80K, we have to take it to court, somebody doesn't pay it. Those are, here, pay this, it's in our ordinance. If they don't want to pay it, we got to do Rule 80K and take them.
Well, that's the same as our ambulance system, right?
What?
Our ambulance is supposed to get paid for hauling people to the hospital.
Well, they can charge and go after that civilly.
But they never get paid.
We get collection, but as far as this goes, you cannot, we don't have the authority to fine people.
The ambulance is billed to insurance companies,
Okay.
so that's where it goes from there, as
If
far
you
as.
don't have
correction.
insurance, who gets the bill?
If you get the bill,
The citizen.
That's right.
That's the town.
we will send you a bill. If you have no insurance, you're gonna receive a bill from the town.
How many of those bills do we collect?
Actually, a fair amount.
No kidding,
But if they're under hardship, they can write a letter
right?
to the deputy chief, and
As
she
well
can
it
take
should
it under
be.
consideration as far as waivering it.
We're not gonna not pick you up because you can't pay.
No, but I just wanted to clarify that that's a separate,
Understood.
Most of the funds come from insurance companies, they're set rates that go through from accidents and such. Most towns that have ambulance services, something happens, you can't pay it, the board of selectmen have the right to go and write those all off at the end of the year. The collection rate's fairly high. When they get to a certain point, the billing company will send it to a collection company, and the collection company goes after it, and that's when it gets written off.
Is that part of the homeowners, Phil?
that's your health insurance.
It's all health insurance, I had to deal
It's
with
all
that with my
health
mother.
insurance.
Okay, they all have a
And
clause.
as you guys know, with health insurance and dental insurance, you set up a payment plan. You spend $5 a month,
Right.
pay your bill.
So why can't we move forward with, because you don't need legal or anybody in it while you're writing the ordinances right now. You can research it, you can document the actual ordinance, and then come back with the actual documents that will give them to us prior to the meetings, and we'll review them, and then we can look at this again.
Shouldn't we be reviewing any ordinance changes well
Yes.
before we
Yes, we
get to
should.
this point?
Yes, that's,
So that we can read it and
I
have
just said
intelligent
that.
questions?
that's what I just
We just
asked.
said that.
I'm sorry.
There's 5 that they were working on,
Okay.
well, now 5, 3, but 5. But,
So the 15 grand, was that moved or no?
no,
Gone.
it failed.
It's gone.
It failed, it's sitting in the fund.
It's in the designated.
No, it's not going to the, it can't go to the designated. It
It's
has
in
to
the
sit, it can't. We can't just dump it back.
Michael just said it was there.
It just stays in the designated fund.
Yes,
It's,
that's where
oh,
it
it's in the
is.
designated
Yeah,
fund?
Undesignated.
It's
fund.
there.
Undesignated
It's
fund.
there
That's where
now,
it is.
yeah.
Oh, all right, I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
That's where it is.
Okay, all right,
Because that's
fine.
where it was supposed to be pulled from, if it was gonna be pulled from.
You know, okay. Wanna go to bylaws? Let's go to bylaws.
So the bylaws I have finished, but they're on my
Let's do
laptop,
it.
so I will send those out to you guys tonight when I get home.
Can you send it to the town manager
I
and
am.
have it put in the boxes?
Yes, I will.
Thank
Yeah, I'll send everybody a copy, and
you.
Michael's on that
That's
select board
awesome.
25.
All right, so
Thank
now,
you.
so
Thank
we
you for
got,
that.
so we have bylaws in place, well, we will have bylaws in
Yes,
place.
you'll
Okay.
get them this evening.
All right.
So you can bring this forward.
What?
Table this to the next meeting. The bylaws you said?
No, she hasn't, but she didn't bring,
I
so
made
she's
the
gonna
change, I
email.
made the changes that everyone asked for, so just read through them. They should be correct and reflect the changes we discussed
She
last
just
time.
removed forward.
So at the February 3rd select board meeting, it was asked to put on this meeting, there was a motion to table it to the February 17th. And then we were also going to discuss how to resolve the issue of having 3 select board members on the road committee.
Yeah, we can talk about that last piece, but these you'll get in your mailbox when we get home.
Yeah, so we've been told, it's been advised by the town lawyer that we can only have 2 select board people on a committee.
Bill, you
There's
have
one,
something to say.
let me finish.
You need a lawyer to tell you that?
Yeah, we did, because there's a lot of conflicting, yes. Because interpretation,
This is
MMA,
common sense, I'm just saying,
it's
folks.
a quorum.
Yeah. So,
So, with that being said, we have one committee that has 3 on there, and we're gonna have to either, one's gonna have to drop off, or we're gonna have to draw straws. And I believe that's the road committee.
It is the road
the
committee.
road committee has 3 selectmen. If you have, two barely is a straight face, to be truthful with you. 3 is a quorum, and to say you're not talking about town business with 3 people
It's gonna
having meeting
happen.
on town business does not pass a straight face. It is a select board meeting that be advertised that way and everything
Yep.
else. So like when you pick a board, you can do whatever you want, but when you can't pick a board chair, it reverts to the town clerk who typically draws straws or
Yep.
whatever her choice is, I don't know.
So, I suggest we follow this suggestion, and I don't,
So it's Scotty, Richard, and Philip.
that are on the road, yeah.
That are on the
So
road.
one is gonna have to drop off the meetings, yes.
Bill, you and I discussed this, and we came to the same conclusion that 3 was gonna be a quorum, and you quoted some statute, I thought. It said that
It doesn't-
because.
So,
It's not about that right now.
it's not about that, it's about advertising it, because when you advertise it, and you have 3 select board there, it's where we are in our position, it's a meeting. We don't want that. We don't want to be perceived as having that.
I understand.
If you're down
I
there
understand
and the engineer's there and something said, it's gonna be taken that, oh, there's 3 select board there, we don't want any misinterpretation on any project in this town like that.
Phil, how many committees you on?
He's on all of them.
He's on all of them.
Well, Scott and I guess are on this one.
Yeah.
What's that?
Scott and I guess are gonna be on this one, because you got all the rest of them.
Well, just because I have 55 years' experience on roads, then maybe that shouldn't count for anything, but it's up to this board. If you want me not.
I mean, I think, this is the way I look at it, Phil, no matter what, right, you sit here, so it's gotta come through you anyways.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm sure that
So Scott and I and who?
Will you
with
attend?
Scott, and then who else is on?
That's a valid question.
It's you and Scott, Alan Green, Chris Harrington, Merle Carnes.
Good group.
Not a problem. I'll stand down on the road committee, if
Okay.
that's what you want.
So we'll make a note. Thank you.
I think you just
Appreciate
hurt the
that.
town, but
You're still serving the town.
Phil, you got the blue.
Motion?
Thank you.
Motion? I don't think we need to.
No, he has.
He's just gonna take his name off, that's all. Okay. All right, so we're all set with committees?
Yeah.
So we have a thing on our next, guys, I'm gonna split you two up.
I'm not talking.
Hello?
Let's put them up.
I really wanna get through this meeting.
So,
So beach use,
yeah, so.
why is that there?
At the February 3rd, 2026 select board meeting, the board directed me to place this on the agenda. And we don't have a lot of backup, it's just direction of where you want to go with this. Obviously, you had some, you're gonna have some issues you're gonna need to deal with that's gonna tie in to the beach with transfer station and commercial and non-commercial, your stickers that you issue, and the future use of the beach and the landing. So right now, it's hard, even on the town staff, when people are coming in and asking what they can use, what they have for permits, and who uses the transfer station. And we have people using, not from town, using the beach commercially. So there's issues there. I don't know how you want to start discussing that and getting into that.
Well, I got a question. Who started selling tickets again?
Tickets to what?
You can get 2
You can
per
get- you can
household.
get-
Get 2 when each additional is tenants in our fee schedule.
I thought we
I
removed
thought we
that.
updated that.
I thought we removed that additional
It
$10.
didn't get removed.
Okay, that should have been updated.
No, within the minutes, I don't have them with me. It did not.
We are using exactly what you people vote for, and a lot of it's not crystal clear, and that's one of the reasons it needs some clarity. So going
Well,
through the
okay.
minutes and what was done, that's exactly what what the clerk's office is.
No,
going for.
I remember having a discussion, but I could have sworn we stopped that.
I think we need a workshop, because we need to walk through each, because even when we did the transfer stations and the hanging tags for the beach and the transfer station, I think we need to walk through all of that.
Okay.
And touch on each of the
All
topics that
right,
you just
so
mentioned.
do you guys want a motion for a workshop on the beaches?
I'll make a
Yes.
motion for the workshop for the beaches, the transfer station, and the use of.
And I'll second that.
Okay.
You want it at the next
When do you
regular
want that?
scheduled meeting?
When's the
there a
next
date?
meeting? March 3rd?
Who seconded it?
It would be-
Richard seconded.
It's March
I
3rd.
did, yes.
So March 3rd, we'll have a workshop at 5:30?
Do we think we need an hour? I think we need an hour.
We do.
It's a lot
5:30
to
to 6,
cover.
yeah,
Oh, 5:30, okay.
5:30?
I think that your hour is gonna lead to having another workshop for another hour.
I think so too.
Okay, so you want to make it 5 and do an hour and a half?
I don't know if we want to get an outline and it kind of mapped out. And
All right, that's whatever.
It's up
You
to you
guys
guys though.
document what time you want it, I don't care. 5, 5:30?
Usually meetings that go over an hour become less productive.
So 5:30.
5:30?
I think either way, you're gonna have to have more than one meeting, so having it at
All
5:30.
right, okay, so we're going to move that to a workshop,
What was the date on that?
March 3rd.
Thank you.
I'll be good.
What's up?
That's going to be fun.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sure.
Don't we have a beach committee?
The beach committee is looking at how to improve the beach, not what it's used for.
Yeah.
So these are the stickers that we give for the transfer station, the beach.
People
You
come
have
in and
people
buy
with
10 a
cabins, you
household.
have commercial, you have VRBOs. Airbnbs that, hey, give me 10 because
Yeah.
I'll use them this summer.
Yeah,
So that's the issue.
I think it'll eventually tie in, just like I think the beach committee will eventually tie into the comprehensive plan.
Yeah, I do too.
anything else on that? We're good? All right. Town manager.
I have that on there in case you have activity after your executive session.
Okay. So, well,
We're in town report dedication, right?
so you want to do executive session and then go back to that?
No, it's on there, so if you, when you do come out of executive session, you have a article if you want to take any action.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
You can go in executive session anytime you want, but if you wait to the end, it might be a little easier.
I'll wait to the end. You guys all good waiting to the end on that one? All right. New business, town report dedication.
Well, you know, at the 2026 select board meeting, the board tabled this item to this meeting. They did ask to have a suggestion box put into place at our 200th anniversary celebration, which we had about 150 people show up, and a great turnout there. Thank you, everybody, and Bobby Joe did a great job. We didn't
thank
give this
her.
to anybody, but I will tell you that she picked up 60 to 70% of the workload, okay? She did a great job. We did put that out there, and we have attached the dedicated suggestions for the celebration list, and last year's was the dedication to Billy Nason, and I believe there's a list behind it, yeah, there's a total list. I'm not sure, I believe that.
Yeah, that came from Claudia, who put
Yeah,
that
I believe
together,
Claudia,
which
thank
is
you,
great.
Claudia, anyways, and I put that in your package, but I did give you the listings of what was in the box there, and obviously, you know, I send out, which I don't do recommendations too often, but I'm very fond of that person.
So we have 3 recommendations on here. We can do this publicly, or we could just look at the list and
Possibly the worst
All-
snowstorm.
all agree.
So if you have a list and you all agree, or you just want to email them to me separately what you think, then I'll take that. However you want to do, it's not a issue where anybody's going to do a FOIA request. This is to do a dedication.
I already
for
know who
great
I
people,
want.
so.
I don't know if you guys looked at the list, but I know who I want. You got something else?
Did you want to discuss it, or do you want to?
No, we would need a motion to,
The only issue, the only funny place it puts us in, because this is a great thing to get this out to people, is if somebody that we have that we know is considering and then does not get that, then if.
yeah, well, I don't want to put names out there, so looking at the list,
So,
does this list work for you, or is there someone else?
okay, let me find that.
Can I make a comment real quick?
Sure.
Typically, you guys keep that quiet and you don't, say that at public meetings so that it's not out there before the town report is published.
No, it gets out there because we have to collect the data and do it back out
Yeah.
there. But we do try to keep it, especially when there's more than one person, just so we're not hurting people.
Right, but I'm saying the voting is typically.
I gotta fit, well, I'm just saying, it's gonna get out there, I already know who I want,
Do it in the executive session.
yes. I mean, we could write it and pass it in too, we could do that. You guys wanna write a name or,
Yeah.
In the past, the town
This is for
manager.
both.
Yeah, write a name, pass it down, and
There you
I'll
go.
take care of it.
it's mine.
Thank you.
Roll up.
Take the paper, Aaron.
Oh, look. Oh, that was.
I'd be for number 2 on
Look
that.
the sheets up.
Highlight it and check
You
it.
could check it
Rip
off
it
and
out.
send it, give it over.
Yeah, I know, it's not an official vote, so I'm gonna wait till Scotty sends his.
Yeah, we'll get Scotty's and then we'll go from there. All right, Spirit of America, let's move on.
Okay, then again, you tabled at this meeting last year's Spalding Memorial Library was recognized for the commendable community service and is attached. So we're looking to get names for dedications to this, because as you know, it takes us a while to put these things together. And I don't think
Is
I
that
put
for
it.
that?
I don't have,
Does he have this?
You wanna check one of those names off for your shoes?
I guess we have to have a, have to do a vote on this one too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't, we didn't ask for recommendations.
We didn't ask for any
Typically,
recommendations, did
Typically,
we?
selectmen pick these out.
All right, well, I guess let's do this. Let's pick something and then bring it to the next select board meeting.
I passed in a couple suggestions for those, did you get it?
Oh, I can do that in public comment if you guys want. I don't have a problem with that. So we'll bring this, the Spirit of America to the next select board meeting. I'll ask the public if anyone's here that wants to suggest.
Okay, we'll just do it all at once then.
Do we have any ideas whatsoever?
No, I don't. I haven't even thought of it, to be honest
What
with you.
about, can I throw one out there, just talk
Sure,
about it?
you wanna throw it out
What
there?
about the Spirit of America, the Wounded Warrior program that we have? Is that something to consider? Just throwing something out there.
I think it's valid, but I'd rather see that be the resident of the town.
local
Yeah, that's fine, it's just if we have nothing going out there, I just think they do a great job, obviously.
They do.
They do. All right, so that's getting tabled. Planning.
So, as I mentioned at our last meeting, our contract's up with the planning service provider. I sent you all copies of that.
Oh, planner.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Oh.
but it is planning, but I'm just saying, the planner, contract's up.
Right.
So looking for clarity from the select board on the role of the planner and the code enforcement officer in the planning board applications. We have heavy involvement with the planner, and every planning board application will necessitate budget increase. And updating the planner's contract needs to reflect either heavy involvement in the planning board or more involvement in the code enforcement officer. The CEO requests a staff level review process to be put in the ordinance to allow smaller applications to be processed more efficiently. And also a job description for the planning board. So the ordinances we have in our contract, as you read, the planner is in the contract to spend 2 or 3 hours a week, office hours in this office, and there's been different discussions on what the intent was. We changed the ordinances, and what I think, if you look at, would you take one of those and pass it down, please? So if you look at our ordinance where it's changed, where the town, what the town planner shall do, provide technical assistance and staff support the planning board, and on, you guys took the time to put this into place into the ordinances, and obviously my opinion is it could have been done differently way without spending this kind of time and effort, but the town planner, the code enforcement officer is appointed by the town manager, and unless it's in an ordinance, that cannot be changed. They are confirmed by the board. The town planner is in an ordinance, so be appointed by the town Sebago board for a specific term or an indefinite term, as determined by the select board. But the select board may initially determine and modify from time to time the job description of the town planner in the best interest of the town of Sebago, that's consistent with the provisions of this ordinance. So what I would suggest you would do is, you have a planning services, the contracts are due up, there's been some discussion on how much the planner can be involved when these ordinances come in, how they're reviewed to go to the planning board. Obviously, something comes in the door, we can't be dropped on the floor for initial completion in our office, and just simple things go through that needs to be done. Because the plan is appointed by the select board and not myself, which is kind of unique, that annually, that you either need to appoint this person for a year or for an indefinite term. Obviously, any way you look at it, it should be a year, because then you don't have an assumption of continued employment. What I'd recommend that you do is, we're at the point of this, is where there's arguments where the code enforcement officer should be at these meetings, what kind of position should be in, and maybe it won't be well liked, but I believe that the code enforcement officer should hold a separate title and be appointed as the planner for a year, and then be able to subcontract with our planning services that we pick. We're not necessarily tied into this planning group, our contract's up, to handle the larger projects as deemed necessary by the planner. If the planner's position is separated from the code enforcement officer, it's 2 separate positions for a year, And if if the board wants to remove that title from that person, that position, the planner would no longer be reappointed, but the code enforcement officer would continue their job as the full-time code enforcement officer. If not, I believe that's the cleanest way, is bringing stuff back into the town office. It still leaves control to the board of selectmen if you have issues in the future, or the planner may be overstepping, or the planning board not be able to handle the planner, which it looked like, or the code enforcement officer from different personnel, or the town manager not willing to enforce his statutory authority that he had at the time, or they may have had at the time, that they could just simply not be reappointed. But in this case, the power remains the board of selectmen for that planner, not just simply be reappointed, and allows the code enforcement officer to separately keep her position of code enforcement officer. Yeah, Joe, go
Everyone
ahead.
got that?
That was a mouthful. wasn't it?
No, I don't have that. Can you say that in simple English?
I thought that was pretty simple, Phil. The code enforcement officer is the code enforcement officer. The board can appoint her as the planner, which by ordinance would have her be at these meetings where she belongs and to handle the simple task, and then be able to have a subgroup that we can contract the work out, that we don't feel that is beyond our expertise, like a lot of towns do, but like a lot of towns do too, that the code enforcement officers go in and act as a planner. It's as a separate position, so the code enforcement officer with planning duties, at the end of a year, or end of an appointment, an appointment can be any point in time that you can do, that if that's not working, you can separate that planner out, the code enforcement officer remains the code enforcement officer, and then you can appoint by the ordinance that you're allowed to do, anybody you want as the planner or planning services.
So how are you planning to handle the salaries of two positions?
It'd remain the same position, it's just separated duties out.
Yeah, so basically what it's doing, it's allowing her to basically utilize and another entity to come in and help and support on an as-needed basis. It gives her the control to say, okay, this is a major, we need to get additional services, but otherwise she'd be able to control what she's capable of doing.
So now.
We have a competent, just real quick, we have a very competent CEO right now. She's certified. She can, everything has to go through her in the beginning anyways.
They should.
There's no reason why she can't pick and choose when she needs services or additional support. And the way I look at it, it will control the dollars of the town planner's contract. So she can call them in on an as-needed. She prepares everything anyways. It will save this town money by doing this. Now, I understand what we have the town planner written. I understand where we were before, but I think we're in a very different position now. And I think she's more than capable, and I would like to try her out for a year as a planner to see if it's gonna save us additional funds, because we're well over that budget right now.
Allow me to support you.
She's gonna change her title.
It's
So,
gonna add a
I have
title.
something
It's
to
not
say.
gonna, so she'll have 2 titles.
So you're gonna.
It's
leave the
gonna be a
ordinance as they are.
temporary,
Well-
it's a year to see if it's going to work to save us money. She's doing the work now.
Go
So-
The
ahead.
town planner keeps coming here at every meeting and charging us. I don't want to sign this contract, I want it adjusted.
When,
Because we're so over budget right now with the town planner. And she's more than capable of making these decisions.
So the ordinances that would allow us not to update every ordinance and pay
I
the,
understand.
Correct,
Yeah.
it will save us money.
So, in the grand scheme of this whole town planner, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, whatever, maybe.
It was about, I guess,
Um,
2.5 years ago.
The state of the town plan, no, I like the plan, for starters.
Okay.
So you're gonna keep the CEO, change your title a little bit, so we don't have to go back and go through all the ordinances where the CEO was changed to town planner in the book.
Correct.
Right.
She'll have 2 titles.
then
Okay,
back to
2
the
titles,
attorney
that's,
first.
that
So when
works,
she
that's
goes
perfect.
to the planning board,
But on the second
she's a
hand,
planner.
wasn't the planning board supposed to, per se, bill applicants and cover the planner's
Yeah,
bill.
that's,
That's part
That
of the
was part of
problem.
the
yeah, you know,
conversation.
in the grand scheme of things, that's how it was all supposed to shake out.
Well, I think it would do
Can I
that
speak to
more
this at
now
some point,
because
Carolyn?
when they get to the point, just like engineering and stuff, the plans that come in, that, you know, the casino plans come in, there isn't anybody that worked for me know how to read those, that covered those costs. So when we can't cover something, we do have to have the planner or an engineer look at it,
I agree.
that it covers those costs.
Major project.
So basically what's happening now is what she's doing, I mean, we have another set of eyes on it, but they don't really say anything. So now we're sitting there with someone sitting in a meeting for 2 hours, spending whatever amount of money, and she's already done the work. And the fact of the matter is that she needs to be in those planning board meetings, and she has the right to be. So give her the title for it.
Can
I think it'll
can I
save,
speak?
I think it'll save the town money.
Can I
personally.
speak?
Sure, Phil.
Thank you. The idea of the planner is that through escrow fees and initial fees, that planner would be covered. Can somebody here tell me if the money that's come in for escrow accounts has been applied to the planner?
Anyone that-
Well, they will be, they'll be carried
When?
forward when the.
When? It's
Can I finish
overdue
my
right now.
answer, Phil, or you're gonna point a pencil at me and be rude? When the audit adjustments go through every year, those get carried forward into those accounts to cover those accounts. So we're currently caught up to our third-year audit, means last year's audit is being completed this week and next week. Those adjustment lists gets given to the auditor and gets carried forward and gets offset against those accounts.
So the.
But how do you cover a planner, when you sign a contract that says he's in 2-3 hours a day or working on something that has nothing to do with an applicant that you cannot charge that person for?
Well, who's doing those charges?
Who's doing what?
Who's adding up those charges?
I don't know,
If
why
it's-
just
if
sign the
it's not
contract that
applicant.
says they have to do that? Why is there a contract here in front of it that says that planner will be here X amount of hours, and if you let him go, you have to pay X amount of dollars these people to finish that contract? Somebody wrote that contract, I didn't write that contract, I went by the contract.
The contract is now expired.
Oh,
That's
It
correct.
hasn't, yes,
So there's,
correct.
there's still money in escrow accounts that hasn't been applied to the planner, even though it's intended to be applied.
It will be applied to that.
When?
What part didn't
Next
you
year?
understand when we do the audit
Well, I'm
adjustments, Phil?
confused.
What part of that didn't you
I'm
understand?
confused why that money.
I know you're
that comes
We
confused.
also
I
have,
appreciate
we
that.
also
Can-
have, we also have a cap,
You know-
which will well over.
You can
Well-
blow me out of the water here and not listen to me if you don't want to.
No,
And I
it's-
appreciate it if you would for a second. Because the money is sitting in escrow accounts right now and not being applied to planner. Is that what I'm hearing?
But it will be when the
It
audit.
will when we bring the audit forward. We
So it
now set
happens
up.
a year later?
we-
That's why the planner's budget's blown out of the water.
It's
There's
still
no
not
money
gonna
for it.
cover the planner's budget, Phil. So when we carry that forward, it's gonna carry a larger portion of it. You are correct. Have those adjustments been made? No, they haven't. I can't help you 3 years behind in an audit when I got here, can I?
No, I get that.
So now we
Totally.
set up an escrow account that they go into that was there in the past, and when they go in, we keep a separate spreadsheet that goes into that,
Yeah.
that can be applied to that.
So why aren't we discussing that against the planner bill right now and explaining that it's high because the escrow money's tied up for a year?
Well, it's a valid point that it is high, but it's also gonna be overexpended. It's also not gonna be covered by escrows.
Well,
You
it'll
can't
be
expect
overexpended
people-
if you don't fund it.
It doesn't make any sense, Phil. If you have 5 people that come in and only 3 have an escrow, and the other 2 are meeting with them on the 2 hours of the contract, do you want us to charge the other 3 people to cover the cost of somebody's application?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's what's happening?
I'm saying there's money in escrow accounts that apparently can't be moved for a year. I was unaware that would happen. I thought those monies would be applied.
They will be applied.
Yeah, but later on, and that's why the escrow, the account for planner looks like it's out of control.
Phil, there's more to this conversation.
I think there is.
This conversation
Thank
started
you.
when the town was asked if they wanted a town planner who would sit in, and the budget for him was $26,000 a
Major
year.
project.
And he would sit in 2 or 3 major projects a year. Basically,
That's what the town voted on.
that's what the
Okay,
town voted.
so I
As
look
needed.
back
That's fine.
on the town planner.
That's
So,
fine.
I can't find it.
I'm still talking.
I'm just saying, I can't find it.
No,
Anybody
shall
know
I
who this
wait?
is? Like, where is the warrant?
Andrew's got it. But
You do?
anyhow,
It was,
I think it was 40 grand.
no,
No,
it was 26.
It was 20.
It was 26.
Sorry.
And it was 2 or 3 major projects a year, maybe. And this was during the quarry crisis where, how could a quarry possibly have arrived and none of us knew it? So then, the town planner turned into a contract. Now a $130,000 contract,
Not for the planner.
right here, this contract,
So,
$130,000
No, it's $130 an
an
hour.
hour.
an hour, $130 an hour, that's in his contract.
So.
So I found,
$130 an hour. Let's just use this guy as Sebago Technics, which is what we used before. Christina will become the town planner and the CEO.
we'll try it for a year and
Which
see
is
how it
what you
works.
said.
You've been howling all night about legal expenses.
Okay, but
and
can I
those
just
legal
put-
expenses came from that kind of system where the
Alright.
CEO attended
Well,
every meeting.
because at the time,
Phil, this town planner
Wait,
created way more problems
Hello.
than he solved.
hi, I found it. It says, to see if the town will raise appropriate $20,000 by taxation or other revenues for planning services expenditures. That's all I can find.
I feel better now.
That's all there is.
Yeah, but it's so vague.
Yeah, then why is there a contract for $150
Then why is there a
an hour?
contract? So
So,
here's the thing, so this is what I think. I think we should try it for a year. I think we restructure the town planner's contract because, first of all, how we get billed is so vague. It's like, okay, CEO, assistants, 15,000 or 500 or whatever it is. They don't detail anything.
Sounds like a
I'd like to
management
make a
problem to
motion.
me.
No, it sounds like the planners aren't appropriately,
He'll give you whatever you want.
okay, well, they don't. I've already talked to Christina about it. But
No,
anyways, the long and short of it is,
I'd
I
like to
think
make a motion.
that we should have a special meeting. I think that we should swear
what?
her in as a town planner. And I think we should give her the option of doing her job, what she's been basically doing, but she gets kickback from people. And it's her job. She knows what she's doing. I have faith that she can do it. There's been no additional funds asked from her.
That could
That should
probably
be
not
done.
And I
afford
think that
here.
she has 2 titles, and I think you've already spoken to
That
me
should be
about
done
this,
through a
right?
warrant at town meeting.
I don't,
The planner was
No.
brought in at
I
town
don't think,
meeting.
no, it wasn't.
Yes,
The
it
planner,
was.
the
Yes, it
planner was not, there is no planning service. So the way I look at it
Because you're a
is,
year
we have
off.
$20,000. Christina could turn around and say, planning services, well, I got another title, I'll make $20,000 more a year. That's how I read
It
it.
wasn't on that warrant
Well,
when the
then where is
planner
it?
came.
Here you go, tell me where it is.
It was at a special town meeting.
It was at a special town meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, the ordinance reads that
Of course
the
it
town
does.
planner should be
No, it's
appointed
at
by
the-
the town.
It was a town
No,
meeting.
it was an annual town meeting.
Yeah, that's
They-
fine, let me finish what I'm saying and then take a call for comments. But the ordinance itself says the town planner should be
Yep.
appointed by the town, select board for a
Board.
specific term, an indefinite term is determined by the select board. So it's 100% of this board to appoint the planner. You have a contractor that's up
I
with the planner,
won't sign
and
it.
under the code enforcement's budget, under planner fees, the expense summary, there's $20,000 put into that account. So that's what you're dealing with. If you
I'd like
want
to make a
to,
motion.
you're still gonna need to do a contract probably with somebody. And, you know, if you don't like the breakdown of bills from the service, you gotta remember, these are vendors, at the point in time, they're vendors, that you can put in the contract that they need to use purchase orders from the town to do any work, and that they need to provide breakdowns. They'll be more than glad to do that, they'll have to.
They'll have
once
to.
we do a contract.
They're working on everything.
Yeah, they have to, which they don't. So we have to sign warrants and we get one line item. So the way I look at it is, you know what, let's see if it saves some money because this is blowing up like a balloon.
I think you're gonna get your wish if we can just have a motion.
All right, well, let's make a motion.
So I would make a motion that the contract for the town planner be discarded, that the current CEO be given the title of town planner at her current salary, and that Sebago Technics and/or other professional engineering group be used from time to time when the project is above and beyond the expertise of our now current town planner and CEO, currently employed by the town manager, who's done a great job explaining this. Looking for a second.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? I have one question.
Seeing none,
Wait, no, I have one question. You made one comment in that motion.
time to get on.
No, I just want clarification.
Certainly.
The $20,000.
No.
So that's not gonna be a
No.
okay, all right. All right,
I
so
think we need to see how it works.
let's see how it works. All in favor? All opposed?
think you're
Let the record
terribly
know that that's been
confused.
passed.
So,
And dazed, don't forget dazed and confused.
what I had brought up, what we brought up is that you need to go to executive session, discuss your hiring process, to go
Yep.
back up to the town manager on there. But after you discuss it, I will say that you should have a special select board meeting next Wednesday before budget committee, trying to send stuff out for that tomorrow. If you're available at, I think, if there's 6, say 4:30 or 5 up to this board, because you're gonna need to appoint a planner, and
Yeah.
that's up to you guys to do that. And also, you need to appoint a treasurer, because when I'm no longer a treasurer, my deputy treasurer goes away, and the town does not have any authority to spend any money. So you need to appoint a treasurer next week.
Yeah.
So you really should meet next week to do your appointments on Wednesday. It's up to the chair to call this, but
Yeah,
I'm just
no.
saying that would fall into.
Yeah, no, I think we need to, I mean, I'm away, but I'm gonna turn around and come back north, so,
Michael, are you
I'm
gonna
gonna
stay a
cancel
few
my
more days
Connecticut
with us?
trip. So we're looking at Wednesday,
Are you staying a few more
2/25.
days with us?
Michael's gonna continue until next week. But we need to get the new hire in.
Yeah,
We gotta get him in.
so we need to discuss
So are we
that.
So
gonna
we
vote
made
on
a
that
mo-
tonight?
I'm sorry?
Weren't we gonna vote on that tonight?
Yeah, we're gonna vote on that.
It's
The
not
only
on the
thing,
agenda.
well, all right, so, okay,
Or maybe it is.
wait.
Phil, you don't need to be in a hurry, get rid of it.
Yeah, no, yes.
So,
The only thing that we have in executive session, so we made a motion that we agreed on who we wanted to hire.
yeah.
We have that on record.
I wasn't aware of that neither was.
So we have that on record. So the only thing that we have to really agree upon is the contract, which we made a couple of changes. So I don't feel we need to go in executive
If you
session.
don't feel like, no. the
So
reason
I don't
put
think
it
we
on
need to
there,
go,
so-
do you guys have a copy of the contract?
Has it changed from,
There's only a couple of tweaks that we told the teacher to correct and we can get to
Pull
Michael.
this one down, and I finished that today.
Because I don't have a
'cause
problem, I don't think we need to go in
I
executive
got
session.
this in the mail with what you guys had, the bullet points, and I put that in there the best I could. If you want something different, I got it.
Carolyn, where are the tweaks?
The tweaks are, where are the tweaks?
So the biggest
The
thing
dates.
that I put in there, if you go down to the term, that is gonna be the bulk of it, besides, everything else you discussed.
Yeah.
And the transition period, which aligns up, that you told me of the
The
February
6 month.
19th, but it still goes back to the term agreement.
So you go number 2 for terms?
Yeah, so the term, the way I wrote that was that it's from what you stated, February 26th. The transition was the 19th, so 26th to August 26th is subject to conditions contained herein. The conditions are that there's a 6-month probation period from the February 26th. These are all, after these contracts are signed, they're all public information.
They're all public information.
So the August 26th, in which time the select board will conduct a review. Upon successful completion of the probation period, the term of employment will extend to August 26, 2027. And within the 6-month probation period, the employer wishes to terminate employment, the employee shall not be entitled to any severance pay or benefits except for accrued vacation time. So that was the biggest change in.
That's good.
Yep,
That's
yep,
good.
yep.
Did we put that in your contract?
No, not really.
Well, no,
We
we
tweaked.
did an 18-month, but
Good
we
work.
didn't do a 6-month.
Yeah, I wouldn't,
He
I'll
wouldn't
be
have
nice,
signed it. You already told me.
That contract's not my cup of tea, but I wrote it the way you guys wish to have it.
Good work
you.
with this, though.
Thank you.
Here's your parting gift.
Anything else in here?
No, I don't think so.
Just what you guys
No.
discussed, okay? The rest of it.
The rest of it is just regular.
A contract that you, if you asked 100 different towns, then all would be within 70% of that.
I would make a motion that we offer this contract to Joe. Was it
John.
John?
I will second that.
Yeah.
Oh, any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, that's unanimous.
So tomorrow I'll have him come in because
Yes, please.
obviously he's on, until we do a job offer, we can't do a background check, we can't do I-9s, can't do all that because of federal laws, and we'll start that process tomorrow morning.
Great, perfect.
Thank you, Michael.
I missed that.
He's coming in tomorrow to fill out forms and then do a background check.
You got a full name?
It is,
Davis.
his legal name is Harold Harold Davis, but he goes by John.
Is he a young, nice-looking guy or a old guy?
Oh, he's a
Listen,
copper.
we can't talk at
Depends
any
who you
age, but I can tell you, he's experienced.
That's interesting.
He's experienced.
He's over 18, I'll tell
If
you.
you
He's over
compare him
18.
to us two, he's young and good looking.
Yeah, handsome fellow.
He has experience.
He has experience.
Okay, thank you.
You can't compare him to those two, it's different.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, I am gonna recommend that we do possibly send a note or a thank you. We've made our decision, we have some people there that we do know that applied for this job, so I would like to send a thank you note to them. I think it's important. I'm sorry?
Should we wait for him to accept it before you send out a note to other people?
Yes, until we get signature.
Yeah, he'll come in tomorrow, when he accepts it, it's tomorrow.
That's a good condition.
Yeah, good condition, all right. Town manager report.
Yeah, it's obviously the second one, so your full report comes in, but I do have the draft budget committee schedule laid out, trying to finish that up here tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, get it sent out to the board. And also, behind that is the expense summary report and the other report. So that's all I have, but I did want to pass
Okay,
this
so
out.
you're gonna send out the budget committee meeting for next Wednesday, correct?
Yeah, this should
6
be
o'clock.
mailed out tomorrow, but I won't have the budget behind it, but.
No, but
schedule.
that's fine, long as
Schedule?
you get it, you're gonna be there, oh,
What time
thank
Wednesday,
you.
Phil?
Is this for these guys?
What time Wednesday?
I'm gonna put one for
What time was the
Friday.
meeting Wednesday?
No.
Is that tomorrow?
Is
No,
is that
it's
the
next-
preliminary?
No, no, it's next week.
Or is that-
But that's
Is
still
that
copies of the town
introduction?
managers.
There was
Picking
no
chairs and all
time
that,
set
or
for next
do, department
Wednesday.
heads
I
to
have
get
next
that
Wednesday,
Just
oh,
you and
for
Public
us,
Works.
Yes.
5:30,
meeting? Anita and Public Works,
right?
I can't come at 5:30.
6:30?
Oh,
What date is that?
All right, so next Wednesday, I apologize.
25th.
Well, we haven't gotten that far yet, we have to get that.
We just asked that.
I know that, but we didn't make a motion for it, so
For a
it
meeting
doesn't.
next week?
Yeah, so we need to do a meeting next week to appoint the town manager, the town planner, and, and what? And the treasurer. Now, if we do the treasurer, we have to go back and do it again for John when he's,
No.
he'll automatically fall into that position, correct?
Well, no, you're gonna appoint anybody you want treasurer, usually the town
Appoint
manager
him.
and treasurer, but you appoint him, then you have no flow.
Oh, so we can
difference
skip that, okay,
with that.
all right, cool. Can I suggest that we do that a little earlier? Can we do that at 4 o'clock?
On Wednesday?
Yeah.
What day?
Wednesday, the 25th?
Pardon me?
25.
Yeah, because
40.
4 PM, please? Yeah,
Works for me.
I guess I have a conflict, I was just told about. You gotta remind me though, now, you gotta remind me. All right, okay. Select board. Richard?
I really chewed the fat pretty good today.
Okay. I'm gonna take it and run. Phil?
My only thing would be to motion to adjourn.
Okay, Susan?
I don't have anything.
Okay, and I don't have anything either, so we're gonna skip the executive session. Now I'm gonna open up to the public. This is an opportunity for members of the public to comment on the agenda, non-agenda items, or contribute information that may be of interest to the select board. Please wait to be recognized and identify yourself before speaking. This is not time to register complaints. Matters related to personnel or boards will not be heard or discussed. Comment is limited to 2 minutes. Is there anybody in the public that needs to say anything? Claudia?
I nominate I nominate the group called Sebago Volunteers. They do all the suppers
The Sebago Volunteers?
for the Spirit of America.
Oh, for the, okay. Thank you.
Great idea.
Is it the Sebago Volunteer Association?
Yeah.
That's a good one. Andrew?
Troubling numbers this evening. one of the board members threw out attorney's number of $124,000 and change.
We were adding up the warrants.
No, I don't think he was.
Yeah, we
What was
were.
spent?
Oh, no,
Okay.
we were talking about the warrants. We were reading out of here, there was
I-
75 and then 50.
That would have been a 125 number, not a 124 number.
Okay, well, there was 1,000 off.
124.9 was the number that came through as of January 1st.
Oh, I wasn't, okay, so you were quoting something that you saw. Okay, I was working
Okay,
off of this.
It's troubling. I'm just saying, you're out of attorney's fees.
I'm sorry?
You're out of attorney's fees.
Yeah,
Yeah, we know.
last month alone, we spent 24,980.
That's just troubling. Anyway, for you guys to talk to attorneys regarding a quorum in this town is so backwards. It's gone back and forth in this room 4 or 5 times in the last 4 years.
Yes, it has.
It's
I don't
almost ridiculous. No, correction, it is ridiculous. For it even to be brought up to an attorney again, because the last time they said the opposite.
Well,
I don't
MMA,
mean to offend anybody, but it's just
I don't
a
disagree.
horrible waste of money.
So
It's,
the attorneys, the last time that.
Yeah, we've gone back and forth on this stupid quorum thing 4 times.
so I've had conflicting answers said to me. I've called MMA, who agrees with
So
that.
MMA gave you this advice,
MMA gave
not,
me the advice, and then I decided that we should probably hit our attorney up about it, because
Was it
there
the
is
same
too many.
advice?
That if you host a meeting or a committee, and there's 3 select board people, and you do have other entities at these meetings, it's considered a select board meeting. It can be interpreted as a select board
a
meeting.
quorum.
It can be,
It's not something we want to get into, because I'm gonna be honest with you, in my feelings, and I'll speak for myself, is that this town has too much to say. There's too many people making accusations, and personally, if I'm standing there and there's other select board people there, I don't want to be accused of having a select board meeting. So I think it's only proper that
this is a good point.
we look at these, because we're gonna have committees where there's gonna be DEP, there's gonna be, you know, whatever. There's gonna be people there, and we don't need any misinterpretation. And I'll be honest with you, it's getting out of hand. So, I wanna do the right thing by the town, but
Just so you know,
that's how I feel. I'll
it's-
speak for me, it's how I
it's
feel.
written in Robert's rules. It's pretty simple reading.
I wish we could go forward with that, but then there'll be the one person who said there was a meeting. We can't chance it,
That's all I got.
okay? Anyone else?
I got a question.
Sure.
So,
Who are you?
my name's Scott Varney.
Nice to meet
I'm
you.
a broker, I'm a developer, looking at various things in the town, and
Okay,
I just had a question. I met with Garrett Jones, one of the land use assistants
Yep.
here in the office, and he recommended that I come to this meeting to ask a question about the lots that are owned by the town, that specifically at Northwood Estates subdivision, because one of those lots I have under contract, and I'm looking at another one as well, but like 3 of them are owned by the town. And he didn't seem to know if the town had any ideas about selling them, or any of the other lots that seem to be owned by the town. And so I'm curious if they are for sale, or if they're, why they wouldn't be for sale if they're not, but, you know, that's.
There currently isn't any lots for sale, and if we tax acquire them, the laws have changed quite a bit on how we have to sell them and who gets the proceeds of them. And if there's property that the town board deems that it's usable for the future, parking or whatever, then they can do that, but there currently isn't anything listed. And I wouldn't know those properties off the top of my head, but if they're tax acquired, the laws have changed a lot for those.
Where is that?
It's, the one specifically that I was talking about is right on the corner of Sebago Road and Anderson. That section where 114 and Anderson.
Up over the hill? On the right?
Yep, it's like right at the top of the hill.
corner, yeah.
Lot 7 is the one that I'm currently trying to do something with, but right next to Lot 7, there's 3 lots that are owned by the town.
I didn't know.
And,
that.
you know, I'm just
I didn't know
thinking
that
like,
either.
budget issues are going on in the town, generating more revenue is probably a good idea. And so these lots are just
No
sitting,
argument there.
you know. So I'm just asking, like, because I'm one of the people that would buy one and build a house on it and create more tax revenue and. that
How
kind
much
of
money do we need?
Right, at that point, you know, I don't want to get back and forth on
Yeah,
this, a
no,
comment section
that's something we'd have to have a
Yeah.
true meeting
of
on.
all the properties you have.
All the, yeah,
There's a protocol that we have to go through.
there is a protocol we'll have to go through
And
on
it's,
that.
and
I
it's
get that, I
changed.
just want to bring it up because.
Yeah, no,
You know,
that's
there's a lot of
interesting.
properties sitting around that could be used to generate revenue.
Okay, yeah, we'll do a little investigating. I'll talk to Garrett.
Okay.
Otherwise, than that,
You
you
said
can
it was
enjoy the
Sebago
reality
and
TV.
Anderson?
I've actually, this is the first ever
Yeah.
select board meeting of any kind, town meeting, nothing that I've ever been to, but it was very entertaining.
This was your first experience?
And we're gonna leave that alone.
I am curious about one thing though, based on all of the ordinance building and all this stuff, just as an outsider. Are you guys using like AI technology to go through
So
all these
it's-
documents? and
Well, first of
everything?
all, I need to ask you, are you a town resident?
I am not, I'm from Buxton.
Well, you're taking up too much of our time.
But if I buy a lot, I will be. Which
Well, I will tell you that AI hasn't done any justice on any of this, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
you gotta know how to use it.
So you gotta know how to utilize it. So I'll generally answer that and leave that alone.
Okay.
But thank you for asking.
Curious.
Is there anyone else?
It was gonna be the vote for the
Okay, so, yes.
salary contract.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Well, we need a select board person to do that, so if it's all done,
Motion to adjourn.
second it. All in favor?
And Shannon, we'll go
26.
and Michael will run your